Who is Alex Jones?
We'll stuff selves in a crap we don't even notice, and itself rising up.
Bill Gates. And Angelina Jolie going, children.
I am Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm Piers Morgan. Ever seen a Chowini?
Alex Jones, one of the past decade's most notorious and controversial figures, was let back on X recently, as well as appearing on a number of well-known and popular podcasts over the past few weeks. Unsurprisingly, this was met with a lot of celebration and backlash, and this made me ask myself, who is Alex Jones? In the media, we see he's this crazy right-wing lunatic talking about how the government is turning the frogs gay, and he even describes himself as,
I am nobody. I am nothing.
But then you have figures like Joe Rogan who outwardly support him and points out that when you look at what he actually says, a lot turns out to be true. So which one is it? Is this guy some wild and dangerous conspiracy theorist whose rhetoric is a threat to society? Or is he some righteous person who, although has lost his way at times, genuinely is trying to get to the truth and in his own way is actually extremely important to society? Well, that's the question we're going to answer. And after looking at his history, definitive life events that shaped Alex Jones, more on this in a second, and the current culture we have, the answer may surprise you. Jones's story is as complex as it is captivating, and probably unsurprisingly, everything was built on two key events. Born on a brisk February day in 1974 in the heart of Dallas, Texas, Jones's early years unfolded in the shadow of the big city, in the suburban area of Rockwall. A young Jones grew up in a typical American family, and if anything, upper middle class. His father, a dentist from Austin, and his mother, the cornerstone of their household. As a teenager, the family moved to Austin, Texas, marking the beginning of a new chapter with Jones attending Anderson High School. A move that would set the path for who Alex Jones is today. His school life was essentially normal. There, amidst the everyday rhythms of football games and classwork, he graduated in 1993, briefly flirting with college life before deciding it's not for him. But in that time, the first pivotal moment in Jones' life occurred. As a teenager, he encountered None Dare Call It a Conspiracy by Gary Allen. But this isn't just any book. It's a window into the world where shadowy figures, not elected officials, hold the reins of power. For Jones, this book is more than an eye-opener. It's a roadmap to understanding the complexities of a global influence. But Jones's worldview isn't shaped by literature alone, and this would be seen in event number 2. You see, real-life events play a crucial role too. Let's take a look at the Waco Siege. For those who don't know, the Waco Siege of 1993 was a dramatic and tragic standoff in Texas between the federal government and the Branch Davidians, a religious group led by David Koresh. Sparked by the ATF attempts to execute a search warrant over illegal weapons, the 51-day siege began with a deadly shootout and ended in a catastrophic fire, resulting in the deaths of 76 people, including Koresh and children. This event became emblematic of intense debates over religious freedom, government authority, and in the eyes of many, showcases the fine line between law enforcement and individual liberties, with many even believing it was a purposeful act by the government agency to shut down American freedom. This tragic episode unfolding near Waco, Texas in April 1993 coincides with the tail end of Jones' high school days. The siege's fiery and tragic conclusion only deepened Jones' conviction in the existence of a sinister and unseen force in the background. It's around this time that he steps into the public eye, hosting a call-in show on Austin's public access television. Now, what immediately followed was the Oklahoma City bombings on April 19, 1995, by perpetrator Timothy McVeigh. This bombing was in response to the federal involvement in the botched resolution that was the Waco Siege on its second anniversary. Jones immediately began accusing the federal government of having caused it. Quote, "I understand there's a kleptocracy working with the psychopathic governments, clutches of evil that know the tricks of control." He did not believe the bombing had been the responsibility of McVeigh and his associate Terry Nichols. Instead, it was a false flag by the American government itself, working to destroy American freedom by design. And in 1998, he released his first film, America Destroyed by Design. At this point, these three key events had officially set the stage for the Alex Jones we know today. Now, as Jones gained more attention for his conspiracy theories, his mailbox started overflowing with fan mail. He eventually got his own show on public access station in Austin. Despite not making money from public access, Jones worked his way up the conspiracy theory ladder, hosting 3 hours of radio a day. And soon he was even hosting a syndicated show called The Alex Jones Show, where he would discuss conspiracy theories, ranging from Joanne Rivers being murdered by Michelle Obama to claims that Obama and Hillary Clinton smelt like sulfur, which he attributes to being told by high-up folks. And just like that, he's been a leading voice in the conspiracy theorist corner of the internet for more than 20 years, actively spreading ideas such as the government controls the weather and Hillary Clinton is a literal demon. And we wish it ended here, but where it gets dark is he was also one of the biggest pushers of the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, which eventually led a gunman to enter a Washington, D.C. pizzeria and fire several shots. Jones's early career in Austin was a dynamic blend of media experimentation that led to an overwhelming and ever-increasing growing influence. However, one debate would change it all, from a small local broadcaster to the influence he has today. Starting with a live call-in format on a public access cable television program, he quickly made a name for himself. This platform allowed Jones to engage directly with viewers, setting the stage for his unique style of broadcasting. In 1996, he transitioned to radio hosting The Final Edition on KJFK 98.9 FM. This shift marked a significant evolution in his career, as the radio offered a more broader audience and a new medium to explore his ideas. Influenced by William Cooper, another radio host known for his deep dive into conspiracy theories, Jones began to weave the narrative of a New World Order conspiracy into his broadcasts. This theme resonated with his audience, adding a layer of intrigue and controversy to his shows. But it wasn't just conspiracy theories that colored his broadcasts. Jones's program also became a platform for political discourse, and in fact was a very baseline program for political thought. For example, Ron Paul, a notable figure running for Congress at the time, appeared on his show multiple times, indicating the growing political significance of Jones's platform. 1990 year was another pivotal year for Jones. He achieved a notable accolade, tying with Shannon Burke for the title of Best Austin Talk Radio Host, as voted by readers of the Austin Chronicle. This recognition was a testament to the growing influence and popularity in the Austin media scene. However, this rise was not without challenges. Later that year, Jones faced a significant setback when he was fired from KJFK. The station's operation manager cited difficulties in selling advertising due to Jones's views, suggesting that the content of his shows was way too controversial for the station's commercial objectives. Jones, however, saw his dismissal as a politically motivated decision, claiming he was instructed to soften his criticism of political figures and to diversify his topics, instructions he chose not to follow. This moment in Jones's career was more than just a professional hurdle. It was a reflection of the tension between commercial media interests and the uncompromising nature of his broadcasting style. It highlighted the challenges faced by media personalities who pushed the boundaries of conventional discourse. And it set the stage for the next chapter in Jones's career, one where he would continue to build his unique brand of media presence. After his departure from KJFK, Jones embarked on a new chapter, harnessing the power of the internet to continue his broadcasting journey. From the confines of his home, he set up a studio and began streaming his show online, a move that not only maintained his presence in the media world, but also expanded his reach. This period marked a significant shift in Jones's career, as he moved away from traditional radio broadcasting to a more independent internet-based model, which will be key in our story later. In July 2000s, Jones found himself at the center of controversy within the Austin Community Access Center. A group of radio hosts accused him of using legal tactics and ACAC policies to intimidate them and potentially remove their broadcasts. This incident highlighted the growing tensions between Jones and other media figures, underscoring the diverse nature of his approach. By 2001, Jones's influence had grown considerably, with his radio show being syndicated on approximately 100 stations. However, the events of September 11th would prove to be a turning point. On the day of the attacks, Jones controversially claimed on his show that there was a 98% chance of government orchestration. He became a prominent advocate of the conspiracy theory that the Bush administration was behind the attacks, a stance that led to several stations dropping his program. Now, despite this setback, Jones's popularity continued to soar. He became a leading figure in the 9/11 truther movement, attracting around 2 million listeners each week by 2010. By 2011, according to Rolling Stone's magazine, Jones's online audience surpassed that of well-known conservative commentators like Glenn Beck or Rush Limbaugh combined. In 2020, The Alex Jones Show was syndicated nationally by the Genesis Communications Network to over 100 AM and FM radio stations across the United States. Journalist Will Bunch, a senior fellow at Media Matters for America, noted that The Jones Show appealed more to younger listeners compared to other conservative pundits. This appeal was attributed to Jones' conspiratorial tone and a web-oriented approach, which resonated with a demographic seeking alternative viewpoints and peaked in the new age of the internet. In a 2016 interview with the Washington Post, Jones claimed his radio show, then syndicated to 129 stations, had a daily audience of 5 million listeners. Additionally, his video streams had reached a staggering 80 million viewers in a single month, showcasing the immense scale of his media influence. This period in Jones's career highlighted not only his controversial stances, but also his ability to leverage emerging technologies and platforms to build a vast and dedicated audience. In February 2018, the landscape of Jones' media presence began to shift dramatically. YouTube issued a strike against the InfoWars channel after a video was posted in which Jones accused David Hogg, a Parkland school shooting survivor, of being a crisis actor. This marked the beginning of a series of content removals and strikes for policy violations across various platforms. By mid-2018, YouTube had removed several InfoWars videos for the reasoning including child endangerment and hate speech. And Facebook had suspended Jones' profile, citing similar violations. The response from digital platforms was swift and significant. Stitcher Radio removed all of his podcasts, citing harassment concerns. This wave of actions culminated on August 6, 2018, when Facebook, Apple, YouTube, and Spotify removed all content by Jones and InfoWars. The reasons ranged from repeated policy violations to attempts to circumvent suspensions. Apple removed all podcasts associated with Jones from iTunes, and Facebook pointed to instances of dehumanizing language and glorification of violence in his content. Jones's response to these bans was to seek alternative platforms. After being banned from Facebook, he used News Wars to continue disseminating his content. However, the crackdown continued. Vimeo removed all of Jones's videos for hateful content, and his accounts were also removed from Pinterest, MailChimp, and LinkedIn. Despite retaining active accounts on Instagram, Google+, and Twitter, Jones faced further restrictions. A controversial Periscope video led to a temporary suspension from Twitter. In September 2018, Jones' situation escalated. He was permanently banned from Twitter and Periscope after confronting CNN reporter Oliver Darcy. The InfoWars app was removed from the Apple App Store, and PayPal banned him for policy violations. Despite Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter and the reinstatement of several banned accounts, Jones remained banned until December 2023, when Musk reversed his position. InfoWars actually found a brief respite on Roku devices in January 2019. Roku also removed the channel. YouTube also terminated the Resistance News channel for re-uploading InfoWars content, and by May 2019, Jones was barred from using both Facebook and Instagram. The COVID-19 pandemic brought new challenges for Jones. In March 2020, the InfoWars app was removed from the Google Play Store for spreading COVID-19 misinformation. Despite these setbacks, Jones found a platform on the Joe Rogan podcast in October 2020, an episode that was made available on YouTube and Spotify, sparking massive controversy. In March 2023, the Southern Poverty Law Center reported on Jones' attempts to evade social media bans by setting up alternative websites. This ongoing battle with digital platforms continued well into May 2023, when Jones guest hosted Steven Crowder's podcast, leading to Crowder's channel being suspended by YouTube for facilitating Jones' ban evasion. Alex Jones misinformed. In the aftermath of the Sandy Hook shooting, Jones used his platform to describe the event as being completely false, and went after grieving parents, saying that they were crisis actors. Jones repeatedly called the shooting a hoax, falsely claiming that federal government was responsible for the attack. According to InfoWars, the shooting was intended to sway public opinion in favor of stricter gun control. The unrelenting push to label the massacre a hoax and describe it as a false flag operation resulted in the torment for the families of those killed in the attack. Online fans of InfoWars began to question the legitimacy of the incident, arguing family members were part of an elaborate act. Real-world harassment campaigns began against parents, and the crisis actor narrative began to spread through social media platforms. After a barrage of intimidation and threats, some families were left with no other choice but to relocate, and in some cases, the torment from InfoWars fanatics continued for years. Allegations that mass shootings were hoaxes received national attention and became a running theme on InfoWars. The continued use of misinformation would eventually catch up to Jones, as families sued Jones for defamation, which he eventually lost in 2019. Anyone could have saw this blow coming, but what the world didn't expect was quite how much Alex Jones would have to pay for weaponizing this disinformation and piling misery onto the Sandy Hook families as they mourn their lost loved ones. Jones was ordered to pay $1.5 billion in damage to the victims' family members by the American courts, who said that his claims have incited death threats and harassment. They also reportedly received regular abuse from his followers on social media, including threats of digging up the coffins of their loved ones. However, this move sparked a massive debate over the idea of free speech, with supporters of Jones saying that his views should be covered under the First Amendment, while supporters of the ban and lawsuit of Jones argued that the conspiracy theorist's message constitutes as a societal crisis. His account was reinstated at the end of last year on December 10th, after a poll by Elon Musk, with 70% of roughly 2 million respondents voting to lift the ban. Although the ex-owner cited the death of his 10-week-old baby in 2022 as motivation for not reversing the ban, saying, "I have no mercy for anyone who would use the death of children for gain, politics, or fame." Musk said that he vehemently disagrees with Jones' statements about Sandy Hook, but added, "We are a platform that believes in freedom of speech, or are we not?" Now here's the thing. One that may be seen as controversial, and why the video is titled Misunderstood. Let's see this clip.
Do you really bear the responsibility of the course of our country based on a conversation?
I think you can revitalize and rehabilitate someone's image in a way that is pretty shocking. Look at the way people look at Alex Jones now, because Alex Jones has been on my podcast a few times.
Yeah, how do they, which direction?
The people that have watched those podcasts
Yeah.
think he's hilarious. And they think that he definitely fucked up with that whole Sandy Hook thing. But he's right more than he's wrong. And he's not an evil guy. He's just a guy who's had some psychotic breaks in his life. He's had some genuine mental health issues that he's addressed. He's had some serious bouts of alcoholism, some serious bouts of, substance abuse, and they've contributed to some very poor thinking. But if you know the guy, if you get to know him like I have, I've known him for more than 20 years. And if you know him on podcasts, you realize like he is genuinely trying to unearth some things that are genuinely disturbing for most people. Like, this is a guy that was telling me about Epstein's island fucking decade ago, at least. He was telling me about it. I was like, what? You're telling me there's a place where they bring elites to compromise them with underage girls and they film them? Really? Like, what? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, President Clinton's been there. Everyone's been there. Like, what? It sounds like nonsense. And not only is it true, but people keep getting fucking murdered for it. Did you see that latest Clinton advisor that got murdered about it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hung with an extension cord, shot himself in the chest 30 miles from his house, and they're calling it a suicide.
And now even Elon Musk is asking, where's the clientele list?
Yeah.
We should probably see who's been to that island.
Yeah, we should probably see who's been to that island. And there's probably more of those kind of things out there that haven't been exposed.
Yeah, but sort of to push back, you had those conversations with Alex Jones. Wouldn't you be able to have the same kind of conversation with Donald Trump?
That's the problem.
No, it's not the problem. You revealed that Alex Jones is a human being.
Yeah.
He's fucked up. He has demons in his head. He's obviously chaotic all over the place, but there's some wisdom to the perspective he takes on the world. Even if though he is often full of shit, he's able to predict certain things that very few people are willing to bring up.
What Rogan shows us here leads us to more of a somewhat complicated analysis. At this point, I may have sounded very negative about Jones, and with good reason. But what this clip points to is that Jones may not be an inherently evil individual. Rather, he's someone delving into some of the darkest parts of our society while facing, or continuing to face, genuine mental health issues, which also led to serious struggles with alcoholism and substance abuse. But it's fair to say he hasn't necessarily been wrong about everything. And in fact, when you delve into some, and let me emphasize some, of his theories, they turn out to be eerily true or close to it. This opens the door to the discussion that we as a society often have a tendency to categorize people like Jones as an outlandish conspiracy theorist who's a danger to society and in the views of many needs to be silenced at all costs. But in a weird way, sometimes having someone willing to push the envelope to question the world around us is critical for society to remain true. The whole free speech debate that Musk has created around Twitter, and only accelerated by allowing Jones back on the platform, is undoubtedly one of the most important topics for discussion today. To put things simple, I certainly don't agree with Jones about everything, and honestly, mostly nothing. But the point is, whether you like it or not, society has a dark underbelly which very few ever have the willingness to explore. When we don't explore these topics, or silence those that do, we open the door for something much more dangerous. So I guess I'll end with a question. That being, how far are you willing to push? Do you see people like Alex as a danger to society or an example of free speech? Is he misunderstood, or do we understand him? all too well. I hope you guys did enjoy that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe. If you want to check out some of my other videos, click right here.